Hey guys, it's Mike from SOLGW Gunworks, and I want to show y'all our new SPR barrels. I shouldn't say new, because this barrel's been out for way over a year. We have thousands of them in circulation. You see them all the time at Quantified Performance. You see them at a lot of precision matches. You see them in use for like DMR kind of Overwatch roles. The performance of these barrels is undeniable. Across every type of bullet construction that we have tested it with, from solid coppers to cup and core to different, you name whatever the bullet construction or style is, consistently group sizes are better. I would argue that it is probably the best value out there in terms of like precision barrels on a production level. That's going to be attributed to a few things. One is the P3 rifling. That P3 polygonal 3-groove rifling is superior to your infield rifling. We've noticed that it significantly extends barrel life, like competitive precision or precision of the barrel, because it's not as dependent on the throat for precision. Another factor to the performance is materials. Just because something says 416 or 4150 or whatever the steel composition is, doesn't tell you a lot about the actual composition of the steel. With us going direct to a mill, like a steel mill, and getting the material cert for what that is, there are different grades of 416. There are higher grades, lower grades, same thing with 4150 or any other material. And the guys that are tracking some of the stuff that we're doing with our mod and other exotic materials, we're having to go get the raw materials. When you have that level of control from like the actual raw material to the finished product, you're able to have a very high degree of predictability of performance and a lot of control over consistency. And there is a material difference. There is a legitimate difference between a high grade 416 and a low grade 416. Starting out with like a very high grade stainless is going to be important to the longevity of the barrel, the machinability of it, and then overall performance. That is something that we're not historically known for, but like people that are following, people that are paying attention and people that know what they're looking for can see kind of what Sons of Liberty's been up to in the last 2 years. The SPR barrels are going to be gassed a bit more conservative than our fighting barrels or work barrels. We want the gun to track really flat. Shootability is important in precision, being able to keep stuff in that reticle. They're not going to be overly sensitive to ammo types, and they're still going to be able to push a heavy buffer, because at the end of the day, like our philosophy for fighting guns is mass, or reciprocating mass driving the gun. We want the gun to be reliable. You're going to notice a bit reduced recoil and slightly smaller gas ports than what you're used to traditionally from the company. The profile is pretty straightforward. For the most part, kind of a straight taper with like a drop off to a 750 journal. And there is a bit more meat or mass, on the barrel. The barrel's not where you didn't build it to be a lightweight barrel, but it's also not like a super heavy contour. The idea was to have as few arbitrary like contour changes as you can throughout the barrel for just consistency. On most precision barrels, you see very few contour changes throughout the barrel. And that's what we wanted to do here. Another design feature of the barrel is the 5/8 threads at the muzzle. Having more material at the crown keeps groups tighter even under heat, and it makes it less sensitive to torque for muzzle devices. Normally on most barrels, the thinnest part of the barrel is going to be the threaded end, right? That's the last bit of input that you have on the bullet before it goes into the world. And when that stuff starts getting hot, you have thermal expansion, and you get like you can get like a tromboning effect at that. Having more material there mitigates that, and it is objectively shooting better groups. The SPR barrels are going to be offered across the line: 223, 556, 6 Max, 6 Arc, 6.5 Creedmoor, 308. We're going to pretty much cover the entire gamut of what we do and have an offering in this barrel. Lengths from 12.5 up to 20, pretty much any configuration of a precision rifle that you want to build, we have a barrel for it. Check out our website, check out our dealers, and go see how these barrels are doing. Like, look around the internet, look for reviews. The Sons of Liberty SPR barrel is an absolute hammer, and excited to get more of these out into the wild.